You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Today's show is a look at what's going on with Anthony Brown, the injury news on his Achilles, and we'll break down some potential replacements for Anthony Brown, internal and external options from that standpoint. The news today on Anthony Brown confirmed by Mike McCarthy at his press conference as we sit here filming this moments ago. He is indeed out for the year. It is an Achilles injury. McCarthy did not say if it was confirmed or not at his press conference, but that's what we're at here. It's going to be an Achilles injury, season ending. It actually means the Cowboys are down not one but two starters on this cornerback grouping. Jordan Lewis already out for the year with his foot injury. Now Anthony Brown is down as well. Those are two starters, leaving this team fairly thin at cornerback. The problem is that Anthony Brown had not been playing all that great, and the numbers don't look that dissimilar until you get to the plays they've made on the football. The coverage snaps, of course, more last year because, the entire season versus half a season. The completion percentage, not that off. The yards and yards per target, yards per catch were all pretty similar there as well. But he's already allowed 5 touchdowns this year. There have been a lot of big plays Anthony Brown has not made, and the startling difference in interceptions and pass breakups. 3-17, which is pretty damn good production last year. 0-7 this year. He was not finding the football the way you need your number 2 corner to do so. So Brown is down for the year. It's time to then look at the replacements for Anthony Brown. And we're going to begin with those already on the roster / practice squad for the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, Trevon Diggs will remain cornerback number 1. Daron Bland, I'll mention him quickly here. He's going to stay in the nickel because he's played well in that role. Why would you change that right now and try to move Daron Bland out of the nickel position? That just doesn't really make any sense from that standpoint. It's going to be Daron Bland in that nickel corner, and that just is what you should do there. The first man up with a shot to emerge as the new number 2 is Kelvin Joseph. Now, he's only played a handful of coverage snaps this year, 10 targets, allowed 6 catches for 90 yards, not great, 2 scores allowed, also is committed 2 penalties. Joseph's issues, is that even though he's in good position, doesn't quite get his head around, and he's not able to locate that football in time, and that causes problems where he's in good position. He's got the skill set, hasn't quite put it all together quite yet. So be honest with me. If you're concerned, I get it. I am too. There's a lot more variance, upside and downside, with Joseph in there at cornerback too. What is your confidence level in Kelvin Joseph? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if an ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it and let me know. Next up then at the internal options is Deshaun Wright, the corner out of Oregon State. He was, I'll be blunt, guys, bad, real bad in the preseason. And Wright has barely been active this year for the Cowboys. He's been a healthy scratch in most games, which is significant from that standpoint. So we'll see about Wright. He'll be active. Maybe he gets a chance to make some plays, but he's been pretty rough so far. The practice squad option, the only one, by the way, on the current practice squad, is Kendall Sheffield, a former Dan Quinn guy with the Atlanta Falcons, who might have to help you on special teams. CJ Goodwin is banged up right now as well as I sit here filming this. I don't have any further details on the injury status for CJ Goodwin. Hopefully things will end up being okay. But at this moment, you're really thin in terms of special teams backups if those guys can't go. So what you might have to do is move Israel Mukuamu to corner. Now, he played corner some at South Carolina, has the length that, of course, Dan Quinn loves to add and pursue and whatnot. He's gotten the occasional nickel rep, the box safety rep, playing safety this year. But that gives you some extra flexibility, but it does leave you thin still at the position. So, should the Cowboys go sign another corner? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comments section. Y or N in the comments right now. Now, if you're like me or most people, at some point you probably forgot to cancel a subscription or they made it really challenging on you because they suck to cancel that subscription. That's why I love using Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place and cancels for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't even know you were paying for. Maybe it was one you forgot about, or you had the free trial and then, oops, you forgot to cancel it right there. You may even find out you were double charged for a subscription. To cancel one, all you have to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money can take care of the rest. Get rid of useless subscriptions right now with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Folks, it could save you hundreds of dollars per year. That's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. A new sponsor here at the Cowboys Report. Big thank you to Rocket Money for coming aboard. You should get on board with them. It's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Links in the comment section and in the description of today's video. Let's look at some external options. Anthony Brown, who, of course, is out for the year. How do you replace him with free agency options? The problem is that the guys out there, I'm trying to be delicate here because I'm going to repeat myself a lot, are not good. The free agent options, I guess, begin with Kevin King, the former Packers corner, who is 27 years old and got a one-year, $5 million deal last year from the Packers and then played like doo-doo. Horrible production. Only 303 covered snaps, 71.4% completion rate, 258 yards, 1 INT, 3 PBUs. It's not great for Kevin King. A.J. Bouye, meanwhile, is another veteran player who has been linked to the Cowboys more speculatively in the past. A little bit older than Kevin King. But again, the problem you start to run into is the last time we saw him for Carolina, small sample size, that's not good. We all get mad, correctly so, about Anthony Brown allowing upwards of 55% completion rate. And those guys got cooked at a 33% rate. Or 70% rate. Very, very different number there. That's not great. Now, Desmond Trufant knows Dan Quinn a little bit from their time ago with the Atlanta Falcons. The issue for Trufant is that we're on the wrong side of his career right now, where he just did not play well the last couple seasons, and I think borders on the everyone is, why are they unsigned? Trufant, he's lost a step. Mackenzie Alexander is more of a nickel-only option, so I'm not as intrigued by him because, hey, you got a good nickel right now in Daron Bland. Also, this note from his last year in Minnesota. A lot of touchdowns allowed on a high completion, which in general, the completion percentage is normally higher than for a nickel core than an outside guy, just because there's typically shorter area stuff, but it's not great. Now, King has battled some injury stuff as well. He's probably one of the better names on this list, that's why it's not great. So I want you guys to name a free agent corner you want to sign in the comment section. Drop that name. Available free agents only. We'll get to some practice squad names here in a little bit. But if there's somebody you want on the open market, drop that name for me in the comments. Bashaud Breeland, who has been up and down a lot here over his NFL career and has been more down as of late, outside corner, but also kind of had a disaster end to his time in Minnesota, and that's not something you typically want there. Darqueze Dennard has got some nickel outside flexibility, but again, not that great. Josh Norman was once one of the best corners in the NFL. That is not the case anymore. Same with Malcolm Butler, who had the weird Patriots finish and then retired, surprisingly, and then came out of retirement, but then didn't actually play. So you can bring him in for a visit or a workout. The Butler option does intrigue me a little bit more than most of the names on this list. Ross Cockrell's got some special teams value, a little bit, some nickel corner ability. Pierre Desir's physical skill set was once intriguing, but he's 32 years old now. Again, it's not a great list. That's the problem when you get into December. In most cases, there aren't great players out there. That's why there's been so much interest in OBJ, because he actually is a good player. Now, if they do sign a corner, if it's just a practice squad guy, we will keep you guys covered. So make sure you are subscribed. Free videos every single day when you sub right here to the Cowboys Report. One more bonus name. That's a Cowboys legend, Reggie Robinson, who was cut by the Cowboys, signed with the Browns, didn't do much of anything, is now actually a member of the XFL's Seattle Sea Dragons. He knows the Cowboys know him, but he's basically out of the league, which is why things might not make the most sense. So earlier I asked you, do you want the Cowboys to sign a corner? Now, will they end up adding another defensive back? S for they'll sign somebody. P for they're going to pass. Just aren't any good options out there. Let me know in the comments. S for sign or P for pass. A big batch of names here, so bear with me. Players who are currently on practice squads. Harrison Hand has had some success with the Vikings briefly, but he's been up and down. Ugo Amadi offers you some kind of nickel corner safety hybrid flex. I'm not sure that's what the Cowboys want in particular, but he's at least played real NFL snaps. Corn Elder, elite name, more of a nickel corner. Kalen Barnes and Javelin Guidry are both speedy corners who could offer you some special teams value, since maybe you don't want to play Kelvin Joseph on as a gunner if he's a starter, and maybe you want some more depth there. Again, practice squad guys you got to sign to the active roster. John Reed is on there. He's a former fourth-round pick of the Texans. Jimmy Moreland offers some nickel value. TJ Carey's a vet nickel. Same with Nickel Roby Coleman, so I like those players, but again, nickel options not the best fits there. Tay Gowan, a longer corner with the Vikings right now, could be a decent fit, but both of those guys would require a active roster promotion, which if you sign Odell Beckham and Tyron Smith, then you got to get Tyron Smith back. You got to add one more open spot. I would be remiss if I did not mention the retired options here. Joe Hayden retired, signed a one-day deal with the Browns. Cross him off your list. Jason McCourty retired a while ago. Jimmy Smith retired in October this year for the Ravens, so they are free agents but retired. I know you guys are going to ask about Richard Sherman. I know you will, and that's quite fine. He's doing Amazon stuff right now, but he's bad. He wasn't good last year for Tampa. Richard Sherman says he did not close the door on a potential return to the NFL, but before he got hurt, he hadn't been the same guy in 2020 with the Niners, and he wasn't good with Tampa. They even played him at safety because it just wasn't going very well. So I know everyone knows the name Richard Sherman. I don't think he's fixing anything for you, and he's not really in game shape. It's December. I don't think the timing makes any sense at all. Now, maybe I'm wrong and there'll be some interest. I don't think so, though. Either way, when it comes to free agency options for the Cowboys at corner and Odell Beckham, we got you guys covered right here on the Cowboys Report. So make sure you're subscribed. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV.